Okay, so part of the questions we have here is how studying abroad, would you advise that a person gets married before going, or how? So does it make it easier for you to for your family members to join you? So let's assume someone is of a marriageable age and the person really wants to, go abroad, study abroad, probably live abroad. Should the person consider marriage so that it's easier? Do I have to get married before going, or does it make it difficult if I'm a married woman going to study abroad? Does marriage constitute a major challenge?
Um, I think it depends. I don't think getting married makes it harder for you to apply and to go abroad. And I do not think it makes it easier for you either. I think the situation I tend to hear more of is that people want to get married in Nigeria so that they can form, what do they call it? Some family ties. Okay, so once they are married and the husband is going to stay behind in Nigeria and the let's say the wife is going to come abroad, it's so much easier to prove to the visa agent that you have family ties in Nigeria and that you will most likely to go back home once your study is over, compared to if you were not married. They would think, oh, this one will come and she would not go back home. So that's why sometimes people end up getting married, or at least go to court with their partner and stuff like that. But I want people to be very careful. I've seen people who don't even have anything to do with a person, and they just like, I just need to form some sort of ties, and they would go and register at the court that they are married to someone just so they can use that as proof when they want to apply for visa. Please don't get yourself in things like that. You don't have to. I wasn't married to anyone. I did not have any tie of whatever marriage, and I still got my visa. So I don't think that will affect you. There are other ways to prove that you have family ties in your home country to the visa. So please don't go and get married just because you want to create some sort of family ties in Nigeria. But if you are married, it's not difficult for you to apply for visa. I think it's even reasonable if you're married to apply alongside your spouse rather than leave them back in Nigeria, especially if they have interest to come. It is in your own interest if your spouse comes. And why did I say that? Once you get your visa as a student, I think your spouse will get a spousal visa for accompanying you to the country. And once they get here, they can then apply for work permit. So while you are schooling, your spouse will get a work permit and get a job and will be able to support you financially. That helps. But the only difficulty that people experience with having a spouse when they're about to apply is you need to be able to have funds to proof of funds that would be able to take care of two people. So say the proof of fund you need for someone for one person is 10,000 naira, $10,000. I think if you're true, you would have to be able to raise $15,000. So that's usually where the challenge is raising that amount to show that you have enough money to take care of yourself and your spouse when you're coming. But let's say you have a scholarship. People who have scholarship don't have to deal with things like that. If you have scholarship, you don't need to show them any other amount anywhere else. You can go ahead and apply for your spouse and yourself, and they would be granted the application. So if you're already married, do not leave your spouse behind. If they're interested, go ahead and apply as long as you have the proof of fund or you have the scholarship to back it. And but if you're not married, don't go and get married, especially if you don't have interest in being married. Don't go and get married for the sake of applying for visa. So that's why I said it depends.
Talking about scholarship, you can go to our YouTube page, the NWN YouTube page. We have several courses on how you can access scholarship, full tuition scholarship, or
Yes.
tuition scholarship. There are a lot of videos there that can really help you. Then another thing, another question here is, how do you as a Nigerian, um, you want to live as a community, you want to live with people and not get into trouble? You are there to study, you are just there on your own, you don't want wahala. But in associating with people, you might just get into people who don't have documents, and then they will just cover you. and then your Japa story will just end like that. So how do we stay out of trouble?
Mm. So when you mean community, do you mean like the Nigerian community here?
Not just Nigerian community, friends, fellow Nigerians who are there, who, this brotherhood thing, everybody is my brother, is my brother. Sometimes you even move in with them because they offer you free accommodation or cheaper accommodation. And at the end of the day, you find out that some of them have questionable character, some of them are there illegally, and then they tend to put you in trouble. So how do we stay away from that kind of trouble?
Yeah, that's a little bit tricky for me to answer because when I came, I didn't have any family member that I knew here or friends or whatever. So I was practically on my own. But I know one of the advice I got was that I should go to a Nigerian church. That if I get to go to a Nigerian church, I might be able to find Nigerian families or something, and they would be able to give me cheaper accommodation. They can give me things and stuff like that. And it's not, it's a harmless suggestion, but I didn't take it because I was like, I would not go to a church because of what I stand to gain financially from the people. I have to choose a place because I'm comfortable there, or because I love the sermon or stuff like that. So I never did, but I know several people who would have done that. And I think the best way to avoid situations like that is to be clear about what you will do and what you will not do. Be clear about your moral principles. Okay, be clear. I've been in a vehicle with a certain group of people, and they were talking about some illegal things that they were interested in. And after that day, I told them, I'm sorry, I can't associate with you. It's not something I would do, and I don't care whatever excuse you have. I just cannot associate with you. It's not. It doesn't work with my moral compass. So I stayed clear of people like that. So make sure your principle as a person shows well, like be clear about it. I remember making friends with someone, and she wasn't an African person. I think she was an Asian or Middle East person. And I remember she would always insist that we go to the school party. Like there's a party they throw every Thursday or something, and she was like, oh, let's go. I'm like, even when I was in Nigeria, I never went for school party in my entire stay in university. I will not start to do that now. I'm not interested. And no matter how many times she said it, I told her I'm not that kind of a person. And that, of course, showed and will help the person decide if I want to hang out with this person or not. But I noticed she was hanging out with me more, and there were some of the vices that she was used to doing that she stopped doing because she was associating with me. So it is I think the onus is on you to decide the kind of person you want to be and to make it clear. Make it clean cut clear that this is my stand on things like this, and I don't want to associate with anything that is apart from this principle. And I think people can read mood, people can read people, they know what they can suggest, they know what they can discuss with you and stuff. But as long as you're not the one who does something, you're not the one who forged document, you're not the one who worked over more hours than you're supposed to work, there's no way it will affect you in any way. Just because you relate to someone who does that does not mean it will affect you, of course. But be careful of relating with people like that, because at some point you begin to be influenced, whether consciously or unconsciously, you'll be influenced one way or the other, and in the future you just find yourself doing some dubious things. Okay, so be careful. I think that's my only advice. Just let people know your moral compass.